elephant in the room?
It seemed not to be very easy for you to say. So the elephant in the room, what do you mean by that?
I mean that I believe that the belief in something in and of itself is a good thing. It's good to believe in something. I may believe
the elephant in the
that
room mean?
the Jews.
Are you referring to? I'm sorry. What?
I was saying the Jews may feel the tusk of the elephant, and that's their whole religion. They believe in that. The Buddhists may feel the trunk of the elephant, and that's their whole religion. They believe in that. That the Christians have found the ear of the elephant, and that's their whole belief. Across beliefs, I think we're all talking or thinking about the same kind of God, or same God across modern religions.
Okay. So you think that everybody's just describing the same God from different perspectives. And that's what you mean by the elephant in the room.
Correct.
So why do you believe that there is an elephant in the room?
Occam's razor.
In what way is Occam's razor going to lead you to an elephant being in a room?
I would rather believe that there's something spectacular happening rather than believe in the downfall of the human race.
How does that in any way relate to Occam's razor?
Well, if one thing has to be true.
What is Occam's razor?
It's the idea that I don't want to say it's the idea that the obvious must be true because it sounds too obvious.
No.
It's the idea that the most reasonable explanation must make the most sense, but
Nope.
No.
I'm full on noping.
Okay, no, go ahead. Explain it to me.
Would you like to go ahead?
I would. So Occam's razor talks about that usually the conclusion that takes the least amount of assumptions tends to be the correct one. So if you have two competing ideas that are at the very best equally plausible, the one that takes the least amount of assumptions is going to be the one that is that is probably going to be the correct one.
So by Occam's razor, we're special. We're unique.
I'm sorry.
Right?
How is that by Occam's razor?
Well, I mean, if we weren't unique, there would have been many other alien races that would have made themselves present and known to us. And
why would they have made themselves known to us? Why would they be present?
Well, that's Occam's razor, right?
How is that Occam's razor?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
How is that the simplest? How is that the least amount of assumptions?
I don't know. I don't know what I don't know until I know it.
Okay.
What I know is we, as a population, haven't experienced that sort of alien contact on a massive level, so...
Okay, so none of that was really at the topic either. You were saying you believed in the elephant in the room like a god that everybody is describing, and I've been asking you
Correct.
Do you believe there is an elephant in the room at all?
Well, he might not be an elephant, he could be a whatever, but I do think that we're all...
something there.
I do think all of the Western mythology, we're talking about the same kind of god. How that plays in with other mythologies, I don't know.
Assuming that there is something there. Why are you assuming there's a god?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. Maybe there isn't. Maybe we just evolved to this point by ourselves. It's possible. If that's true, I'd like to think we're more loving and caring about others than I'd like to think we're existing more as a community.
Okay, let's stop here. Sounds like Noctis has a question. And we've woken Rav from his slumber, so I know he's got one or two. Go ahead, Noctis.
I just wanted to say, if I used Occam's razor and said the most simplest explanation, surely that would lead to no God, because we have no evidence, right? I'm just curious. That was more to the room. But I can't see why you'd necessarily go to there is a higher power.
I suppose I think we're special as a species here on Earth, with what we do or don't do. Somehow we continue on. I guess my great response to that would be that in studying animals, we realized uniquely that there was a point in time in which animals would come back for their wounded and try to help them continue on.
Which ones? Because through a lot of the animal kingdom, and I'm not going to say all of them, but through a lot of them, they will disregard the weakest. They will leave it. It shows
that's
that
right, but we don't. We go back. We don't leave those who have a broken leg. We go back for them and we treat them and try to help them get better. Is that what it means to be human?
That's not always the case. And historically speaking,
I'm
that's
so
not always the
confused.
case.
I want to go back to bed, so I just want to offer what I was going to say. If I can just jump back.
Go on, Rav.
Okay, thank you. I have a pushback against the notion of Occam's razor's usage here, and it's more of maybe a clarifying question. But does simple imply plausible? Simple doesn't imply plausible, does it?
So, in Occam's razor, simple is never really used. It's usually the route that takes the least amount of assumptions. That's how Occam's razor is usually defined. People do say simplest because if you're going on a route and you like the one with the least amount of assumptions would appear to be the more simple one.
Yeah,
But
entities do not need to be multiplied beyond necessity.
Yeah.
Well, so the least amount of guesses is just to say God did it all. Like that's the most simple solution. But listen, the universe is immensely complex, but the God of the gaps is just one step. Simple solution.
Well, it's not exactly one step because the thing is it's like, well, how did the Earth get here?
Yeah, it is. God's all powerful. God's all knowing. God's everything.
Well,
done. One step.
Hang on, Rav.
I agree with you. I'm just saying that is a very simple solution that has only one assumption and it has only one answer to it. That's my pushback against that.
So, could I ask, if I may, could I ask?
Hang on. That would be if it doesn't include plausibility, right, Rav?
Exactly. But that's why I asked plausibility first, and it's not like in the original statement. I mean, I guess if we add it, that makes perfect sense to me. That's the caveat.
Yeah, plausibility and certain other phrasing is usually added on after, but it's usually just the route that takes the least amount of assumptions.
Sorry, can I ask, you're using the word plausibility. What are you describing and defining as plausibility?
Like likelihood, but implying that it is likely, like that it leans toward likeliness,
Sure,
likelihoodness.
but that seems kind of pedantic to me. I mean, how
No, I think it's
likely
crucial.
is it? How
Wait a second.
likely is it
Wait
that
a second.
Can you
we've
stop shouting
evolved?
over him? Are
Sorry,
you drunk? Shouldn't.
not yet. I should start drinking.
Go ahead,
How
Raph.
likely is it that we have evolved to the point in which we're having this conversation right now via technology, beamed to a satellite, beamed to a...
I mean, very considerate it's going on right now in this
Yeah,
second.
I was going to say
I'm in
about
the UK.
100%. Yeah,
So
just about.
there's this whole entire thing where so plausibility all relies on like the probability of things, which it goes in like you always hear like winning the lotto is like one in X amount of thousands or millions and stuff like that, right? Those are
The key that plurality need not be applied unless it necessitates it. So saying God solves all the issues simply begs the question, an infinite amount of questions that lead up to this very moment. That's why I think the God claim for Occam's razor is a ridiculous
That's
thing.
fair. Could you
well, the thing is if you take away
That's
the
it. I just
God
needed to
claim,
prove myself wrong. Thank you. That's it. I just needed that. Okay.
could
Have a good
you
night.
no, I mean,
Take
genuinely,
care, Raph.
one
Yep.
of the
Bye bye.
first...
Right.
Have a good night, Raph.
Yep.
Appreciate you. W's for Raph coming up
yeah.
with a thought and proving himself wrong before he goes.
Oh, the other guy left too.
Yeah, he probably didn't like getting muted. I didn't like him just interjecting over the top of everybody, so I had to mute him so we could bid Raph good night.
If God would be the simplest answer, it would surely also be the answer with the most assumptions, right?
Yes.
Basically what Raph was saying.
Yeah, because if on one end you have God did it, and on the other end you would have God didn't do it, then the God did it is the one with the most amount of assumptions.
And we better not assume, because that just makes it an ass out of you and me.
And this is why you lost the game, Bets.
What game? I'm not entirely familiar with what game you're referring to.
The game you just lost when he said you lost the game, and everybody else lost the game because he said that they lost the game.
Exactly.
I don't know.
I'm
pleading ignorance here. I don't know what game. I never lose games.
Yeah, well, you lost this one.
I don't know if that's how the game works, but I'm not here to enforce the rules of the game because I think it's.
There's only one rule. There's only one rule to the game, and you can't opt out of it, and you can't plead ignorance about it.
I don't know how it's enforced. I think it's only enforced by people being belligerent about it. But technically, you did all just lose the game. And if anybody does have a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or or anything like that, and you are capable of question, debate you, or argue, I'm really not interested in the contentious back and forth and condescending, insult slinging, whatever it is that tends to happen when people get too heated in these discussions. I'm really, really, truly interested in seeing if you can question your beliefs, and if you can, then what is it that you believe, and why do you believe it?
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate everybody helping with the goal. Thank you so much. To SC96, but also Artificial Red, Anki Bubs, Insomnia, Shell, Bats, Heather's Descent, and Brenna Green. Oh, and Eric also. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate all of you. And of course, I do appreciate everybody who's tapped the screen up to 54,000 likes. Appreciate that. Every single one of those taps helps get us out to the FYP of somebody who might be curious enough or courageous enough to question their beliefs.
I might take this opportunity to drop because my signal is horrific.
You might.
Yeah, I might. Just boot me. Boot me to the abyss.
You will be missed, Noctis.
I'll miss you.
Noctis.
Appreciate you, Noctis.
Somebody in the chat, I forgot who said it with me, but we were on the same brain, using the same brain cell earlier because, never mind.
I don't know if Birdie's meant to request up. Did you mean to request up, Birdies? Possibly not. I'm gonna guess not.
Well, because earlier when the dude was talking about Epiphanies, breakfast at Tiffany's, he said it was breakfast at Epiphanies, and they said something similar. I was like, yes.
His divine epiphany.
Yeah. I shared the brain cell with somebody else who had a similar idea.
A breakfast at Epiphanies would make an interesting song.
I say, what about breakfast Epiphanies?
I have no fucking clue what you're talking about.
You don't know the song?
No, I mean I do. It's you're supposed to say, and I think I remember the film, and as I recall, I think we both kind of liked it, but I wasn't gonna say that. I thought it was funnier to say I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. So
I was a bit concerned for a second though, Thrayle. I was like, whoa, wait a minute, Thrayle. Usually you catch up on my little things that I lay out there.
I had a few people worried there for a moment now.
Well, Audrey Hepburn was a woman of grace and elegance, and I'm sure we have many of those in the comments below who would gracefully request up to discuss their beliefs and what it is they believe and why it is that they believe it. There's nothing more elegant than a person willingness to examine their own beliefs. As I think it's elegant. I think it's very mature.
There is a certain elegance to that, isn't there? Bats for the segue. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I like saying hail instead of hell just because hail yeah sounds more country, and I love country people.
Hell yeah. It's funny because in my normal speaking pattern, I do pronounce it as hell.
Hell yeah. Apparently, that is where we're all going, by the way. Just to hell.
Hell.
Do I get to go to the Prince concert down there?
I guess maybe if Prince, probably. Jehovah's Witness, yeah, probably also in hell.
Look, all I know is I've seen the posters about who all's going to hell, and hell looks like it's going to be pretty fire. It looks like it's going to be great down there with all the people I've seen that are supposedly going to hell. So, awesome.
It's gonna be the best rock concert ever. That's one thing I never really understood about being Christian, was assuming everybody else was going to hell. It seems quite a horrendous presumption to have. Like children, if all the world was my children, I'd do everything to protect them, not send them to
You
a.
don't want them to go to hell, so you bring them into your specific version of Christianity. So
Yeah, because my specific version was always correct.
So was mine.
I was often told that, like, most people were wrong, and that there was only a select few that were going to make it, as though God had created all of these sort of haphazard, batch-based, slapdash humans together with one really kind of goal in mind, and was refining down to see who was worthy of keeping and throwing the rest away, which really makes God sound like a really inefficient and shitty kind of creator, artist, maker. Like,
there's two things about that are kind of biblically accurate. Well, one being that Yahweh was a god of war. The other being the fact that in the Bible it talks about the book of life and how the names that are within it are few. So, I mean, you're technically not far off.
Well, there's a verse that specifically says, "Narrow is the way, and few there be who find it." So, yeah. God's a horrendous adversary who just wants to find a couple and throw away the rest.
God says, I love you all, but now it's a battle to the death.
Apparently. At least to some traditions, but We have a new guest joining us, Cap. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
Certainly. I'm 52 years old.
And do you have a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that?
I was actually up here about a week ago, and had gone over my beliefs, and but I was just listening in on a conversation about hell, and just wanted to weigh in on that if that was okay.
Sure, but I do want a quick reminder, if you don't mind answering just that first question, if you have a belief in which god it is.
Yes. I consider myself agnostic because I don't have proof of a higher power, but I do believe that there is something greater than us. And in the conversation that we had before, I explained that I feel as though it's more probable that it's like a higher dimensional being, and that I hold that belief just through personal experiences that I've had. And
Okay. I vaguely remember the conversation.
Okay.
I might have ended it abruptly, but I'll go ahead and let you throw in what you
No,
want.
no, it was actually a very good conversation, and
Really?
I believe you folks gave me a W at the end of it, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Well,
I just
you,
think I don't believe in hell, and
but you believe there is an ultimate judge.
no, I don't believe that there is an ultimate judge. Because like I don't believe in the Christian God. I believe in a higher God, but I don't believe in the Christian God. I don't believe that there's some guy with a long white beard sitting on a cloud somewhere, passing judgment on us. You asked me that question last time, and I still kind of wrestle with that. I go back and forth. Sometimes I think that there is that like the spirit transcends to like a higher dimension, maybe becomes one with that higher dimensional being. And then I also flip back to, it's also very probable that just the matter and energy ends up being transferred back into the earth, and our matter and energy is consumed by plants that are then in turn consumed by animals, and the whole cycle just repeats itself. So I kind of go back and forth on that.
Well, I have news for you. Because you said you don't believe in hell. Yeah, neither do I, and hell isn't even biblical. So
Yeah, I agree definitely. It seemed like it was a construct made later on by people who wanted to use it as a system of control.
I would say that it's probably a mixture of that, and also people wanting to know what happens to bad people whenever they finally, kick the bucket.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, people do kind of have a kind of an innate wanting for someone to have like a final judgment for the bad things that they've done. That if they've lived a virtuous life, that they should get some sort of reward, and those who didn't live such a virtuous life should get some sort of punishment. But if they believe in the Christian God, I can't wrap my head around it. If they do believe in a Christian God, why they would believe in hell? Because in their faith, which I do not share, they believe that God is the loving Father, that He loves us all and created us in His image. Yet, if you don't believe in his son and the resurrection and accept Jesus into your heart, that you're going to be punished for that, not for an hour, not for a day,
Yeah.
for all of
Cap.
eternity. Sure.
I hear you. But I do want to stay focused on questioning the beliefs
Okay.
of believers that come up instead of getting too far off into. I'm curious about your higher power.
Okay. Sure. Uh, my belief came out of a bit out of studying quantum physics,
Sorry.
and I was always interested in other dimensions, fourth dimension, fifth dimension, so on and so forth.
What's a dimension?
A dimension is, well, in this case, it would be a spatial dimension. Like we live in
Spatial dimension.
yeah,
What does that mean?
like we're in 3 dimensions. So height, width, and length.
Okay.
In time.
Time being something that exists in the three-dimensional space. Time.
Well, most physicists would say that.
in this three-dimensional space. Excuse me?
I think you're having some signal loss there, Cap.
Yeah, I think so.
Cut out for a second.
Unfortunately, where I am, my phone signal isn't the greatest sometimes. But yeah, I was studying things like that in school. It wasn't.
So
It was,
just
sorry,
to
go ahead.
clarify, studying quantum physics and spatial dimensions led you to believe that there is a higher power.
Not alone in itself. And to be clear, I don't have a very deep understanding of quantum physics. It wasn't like my field of study in school. It was just something I was interested in and read about. But it was not like my focus of study. It was more or less a hobby.
Okay.
Well, you're in good company because I don't think any of us in here know a lot about quantum physics either.
I will say that there's times where I will understand a bit of what I read, and then I'll read further, and then realize that I didn't understand the first 3 pages that I just got done reading. But it's an interesting subject. But it was more so that, and I explained this last time that I was up, that I freely admit that it was experiences that I had while ingesting things like psilocybin, and experiences that I had while under the influence of psilocybin. So I also freely admit that that
So it was, yeah, I am now remembering our conversation much better. So it was based on your ingestion of these chemicals, your altered brain state,
correct.
experiences you had there that lead you to believe that there's a higher power.
Correct.
In what way? In what way does an altered brain state lead you to believe there's a higher power?
While in that state of consciousness, I felt as though I could see what I termed like the fabric of the universe. That I could see that things around me that appear to be solid are actually just energy vibrating at a low frequency. And then
Sorry, just to stop you for a moment.
sure.
Go ahead, Hammy.
Yeah. So just so we're all clear, this stuff that we're using, this is a hallucinogenic.
I push
Correct.
back on that. I push back on that term. I term it as a psychedelic, hallucinogenic. Um,
So it still alters your brain in a way that will make you see certain things that aren't necessarily accurate to the way you would see it without it.
that's a fair statement. I can definitely see that point of view. My point of view was more that we as human beings can only perceive our reality in like a certain spectrum of light, a certain range of frequency of sound. That I feel as though ingesting something that comes from the earth.
That all varies from person to person, right? Like, I probably could hear more than, say, Thrayle, and Thrayle probably hears more than, say, bats. And people see broader spectrums of broader colors on the lights already as it is.
It does vary to a very small degree for most human beings anyway. I mean, there are some people who are colorblind that don't really see much on the color spectrum. And yeah, there's people who are hard of hearing, people who have, above normal hearing, but it's still within basically a certain range.
Yeah. And you're saying that whenever you take these psychedelics, that somehow broadening that range means what exactly?
Um, that you're able to perceive things that you normally wouldn't otherwise be able to perceive.
So, if I'm able to perceive, say, 4 different shades of red, and then on these psychedelics, I can now see 8 shades. What does that lead me to understand about the fundamental reality that I didn't before?
I don't think being able to see more shades of a particular color alone in itself would really do anything at all.
It's a combination of all the senses that then somehow, like, just because, like, it broadens the length of whatever, whether it be hearing, sight, smell, taste, and all that stuff. Like, you can somehow broadening those senses, just, by however many degrees, somehow now automatically gets you to a different understanding of the fabric of reality.
No, I would not say that. What I was starting to get at before was, again, on the topic of quantum physics, that it does explain that like solid matter is really energy at a slowed vibration.
What is energy?
Uh, Scientifically defined, it's the ability to do work.
So you're saying matter is just the ability to do wiggling around.
Well, when it gets condensed to a slow vibration, then it becomes
What gets condensed?
the energy.
The ability to do work.
I see what you're saying. I guess there's a couple of different definitions of energy. Like in classic physics, energy is the ability to do work. Like in this case, it's more like light energy and frequency.
What is light energy?
Light energy. Oh,
Are we redefining energy now?
you're testing me. Light energy is both particle and wave.
I'm sorry. I didn't ask like what it's.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
What is it that you're saying energy is when you're saying everything is energy?
Vibration, frequency.
What's vibrating?
Photons.
Are you just kind of guessing at words now? That sounds scientific.
Well, with light, it is photons, photon particles.
I didn't ask about light.
Okay, fair enough. I honestly don't know.
There you go. Go ahead, Hammy.
Well,
He said, I don't know, though.
so whenever we're just, yeah, he did say, I don't know, and it's the solid thing. But he got to I don't know, so I
If we don't
do you know
what it is,
vibrates?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
No,
Helen.
go
Go ahead.
ahead.
I'll wait after.
quick, when you're talking about like solid and stuff like that, like what is it that is vibrating like slower in order for something to become solid?
The molecules within the object.
There we go. Okay. So, I think because earlier you were getting energy and molecule confused
Oh, that's fair.
because you were saying solid or something like that, and that was confusing me. But now that I'm good in my brain,
It seems we've lost the thrill, but Cap, I was wondering, you said you don't know what the other definition of energy would be, I think. If you don't know, why do you assume that we get a higher sense of it when taking mind-altering substances?
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like just because I don't know the definition of it doesn't negate the experience that I had.
So, what kind of experience would make you believe that while taking mind-altering substance you would get enlightened?
I felt a connection with the things around me. I felt as though I felt the presence of a higher dimensional being.
Substance would be accurate.
Altering substance. I and in I guess it would be defined as such. I've just always considered it to be something that opens. It can
real quick.
Sure.
All of that. Please stop.
Yeah. I do want to